Today, we're just going to talk about, our time as, graduate students in the Conda program. So maybe we can do a quick introduction of ourselves. My name is Philip Bennett. Um, I was a part of the program from, let me get this right, 2017 to 2019-ish, maybe. And I, really enjoyed the program, and I'll talk more about my experience. And now I'm currently a learner advisor at Conde University of International Studies in the main campus in Chiba, working in the South. So, okay, who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
All right, aloha everybody. So again, it's me, Jimmy. So I joined the program about the same time as Phil. So shy of almost 2.5 years. Yeah, Phil, about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I came into the program while working as a private mobile kindergarten teacher for a private international school, which is contracted with another company that sponsored these private family-owned kindies in Nishi Tokyo. So I was working there for about 4 years along with the program, which was like 2.5. So I got to work while, learning. And that was a really good time for me. I got to graduate with this beautiful team here, a wonderful Ohana here. And at that time, I realized I really wanted to do more with creating, a community of learners. And then after that, I kind of went back to Niigata, where my family was living and I was living before coming to Tokyo. And then I did some work as a public school Japanese teacher for junior high school. So that was a real turn. And then just this year, for the pandemic, I actually came back to Tokyo and I am teaching as a ELF teacher, which is an English language facilitator, ELF, for the Tamagawa University. But I'm teaching for the first division, which is an elementary division. And I'm here today, and let's do this, guys.
Yeah, nice. Mahalo, man. I'd like to go next.
I'll go if you like.
Oh, yeah.
I started, my name's Dan, Daniel Hooper. I started my MA at Kanda in autumn of 2014 and finished autumn 2016. So then in 2017, I started working as a ELI lecturer in Kanda. Before that, I'd worked as an ALT in junior high school, and mostly I worked for about 8 years as an Eikaiwa teacher, private conversation school teacher, and that's what I was doing when I was doing my MA. So yeah, now I've been working at Kanda for just over 3 years. I try to be very active in terms of research, especially about Eikaiwa, learner identity, that kind of thing. And yeah, the MA program had a huge impact on me, which we will go into in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Awesome.
All right, who's next?
Can I go?
Yeah, sure.
My name is Leslie Inoue, and I started in 2016 and finished in 2019. I was working in a language school, like an Eikaiwa, for young learners. And after doing the MA TESOL, I changed into an international school. And now I've progressed into teaching as a tutor in Waseda University. And I'm currently doing research in second language learning and learning difficulties and how to improve and facilitate better resources to students and teachers. And the MA TESOL program in Kanda has been completely beneficial and changed my life, which, again, has been said, we'll add more detail after. But yeah, enjoy.
Best for last.
All right. My name is Ewan. When I think I started the MA program in, I think, autumn 2016, yeah, and I graduated in autumn 2018. When I started on the program, I was working in Eikaiwa in Ajuku. I then changed my job partway through the program. I began working at a private junior and senior high school. Before that, I'd also worked as an ALT and at some universities in another country. And after I graduated from the MA program, I got a position as as a lecturer in the English Language Institute at Kanda University of International Studies in Makuhari, campus in Makuhari. So I have been working there since April 2019. And as everyone else said, the MA program also had a very strong influence on me, which we will talk about today.
All right, awesome. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing. Please share something that you're proud of this past year.
For me, I guess this past year, it was a real big, it was like a big return, but also like a new twist on my teaching career. Like I said earlier, after graduating Kanda, I was kind of struggling trying to see what kind of jobs are out there. I applied to so many jobs, and I was still shuffling around getting those publications out, guys. You know what I mean? So, but for me, keeping myself busy, and then reading, again, going back to reading, it really helped me stay focused, stay positive, stay in tune. I think, you don't want to break off record with the teaching community. And I think that's what's good about the teaching community. It's always updating, feeding us information.
So I'm really proud this year that I've been able to do workshops this year, and even some of them online.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really nice to see some of the responses from people who are becoming more curious about second language learning and difficulties that some students may face, and some of them becoming more open to maybe sharing their stories about their struggles in school and dealing with English. So it's been really nice to see that. It's also been nice to see through some conferences that I've been doing how open teachers are to trying to take a different perspective or a different view of this issue and how to make things better.
I guess this year I just happy, proud that I've been kind of staying active. In terms of teaching, I think I've done a pretty reasonable job of adjusting to the online environment.
Yeah.
I've kind of kept true to my kind of teaching tenets, creating an environment where students can use each other as role models rather than native speakers or whatever. I hope doing my little part to kind of make them feel more comfortable in their own skin as language users,
Mm-hmm.
not language students.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there's been awkward bits about transitioning to Zoom, but generally I'm reasonably happy. Like you said, the feedback I've gotten from students has been, comparable to what I would get in a face-to-face class, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, the main thing is my baby, this bad boy,
Congrats.
my Eikaiwa book, and this is something which most people not most people, but a lot of people in our field don't care about. And there's a lot of elitism which I encountered in certain professional organizations, which for an important point is I didn't encounter it in the MA, which was, I was talking to Gordon earlier about this, it was a big thing for me.
Okay, the first one that he shared with us was how has the MA program impacted you in terms of your career? I think most of us touched on this in some fashion.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to add anything else, for me, I'm no longer teaching English in the, how can I say it, in the way that I have been for the past 15 years. Being a learning advisor. It was completely a shift in, how I understand education through learner autonomy. It was kind of in line with how I've always thought about myself as a teacher, as, having dialogues with students, and especially one-to-one, not just standing in front of the class and teaching, which I love, and I look forward to going back to it one day. But I also, remember doing speech contests with students and students coming after school with, a book that they're trying to read through, or, sharing YouTube videos that they don't know the meaning of song lyrics. And those moments of speaking with them, I knew that there was something more there that, I wanted to do. And, taking the learner autonomy course and with Joe, Santoko, and Hisako, I was like, what, this is a job, this is a field. Like what, like you can have dialogues with people and there's a way to do it. There's certain techniques that you can use to kind of help learners help learners learn about themselves as learners. And so yeah, it kind of totally it was a paradigm shift for me, and it was my aha moment. And if I never came to the program, I don't I don't know what I'd be doing right now, but I'm definitely where I'd like to be. Thanks to this MA program.
The MA program gave to me was courage.
Mm.
I never thought in a million years that I would be able to do what I'm doing now. And from all the support from the professors and seeing how they encouraged us, it gave me the strength and the courage to actually pursue a different road to what I intentionally thought I could do. And I really appreciate that courage to actually continue and not give up, trying to keep going, keep trying to achieve that goal. So I really appreciate what they gave us. They gave us that endurance to carry on, even though sometimes we may fail in things, we'll just keep getting back up and keep going.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would have the courage to actually pursue this type of research that I'm doing now. But thanks to Daniel Jackson and to Gordon and even Nana and so many wonderful professors and Tim Murphy, I've been able to really pick myself up and just keep going. So that's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me.
I think Dan brought this up, but I think for me coming into this program, the one thing that impacted me is as teachers, we took these many phases and small steps, transitionally, stepping stones, kind of building a foundation, letting it rubble, break down. But coming into Kanda, those things kind of fall into place and kind of have a cushion. Because you know why? Because I think Dan says, yeah, we're nervous, man. I think we walked amongst giants in this year, man. I think we walked amongst giants, and I mean, it's taking on these giants in the career of in the field of language learning, second language acquisition, group dynamic. These people that we read about, prior to coming here. And before even knowing who these people are, I wonder what this person's like. And you see him in class, and I see Bill, and Bill's just very chill, very, very, very subtle, and he has his pause, and he talks about, but he knows a lot, and he has that experience. And for me, just being there, it kind of has that nervousness, but it kind of settles the tone. The wave kind of calms there. You can rest your surfboard there, and you can chill. I can do this because there's someone here. And I think a lot of the teachers, for me, if it wasn't for a conversation analysis with Chris Hale, man, breaking down conversation to the tidbits.
Yeah, that's a powerful class.
I think without that, I would have not known what my students are really saying. And that goes back to, Phil says, dialogue, it's the smallest element, but it's also very crucial. We need those things to understand our learners. And from that, I think coming into Kanda, I've kind of built as a teacher and as a language teacher and a language learner myself. I think, as teachers as a whole, we have this learning and teaching reciprocal relationship with our students. And that reciprocality is I think it's a blessing. And then if it wasn't for this Kanda program, it wouldn't, dilate my eyes to see this. I was blinded all these years,
That analogy.
I was blinded, man. I think without this, what I've been taking, I took these things for granted, and for me, I kind of advocate what Dan was saying, because for me, I wanted to build a community of learners, and I'm still working on that. Even though I took a phase out of teaching young learners, I taught junior high school again. But for me, that was itself, kind of building a different community, as an English teacher, trying to overcome new obstacles, kind of expanding out, club activities, building small groups with ALTs, support groups with ALTs and other teachers. I think, I think the language community is more rich, more diverse, and that's what makes it, proactive. It has this pulse. I think that's what keeps it together. And I think for me, this this beat that goes on, I don't think if it wasn't for this Conda program, man, we'd be flatlining.
Second question. So what specifically do you feel you got the most out of the program? I think, we all kind of touched on these in some part.
Of course, all the professors on the MA program were very supportive. Like, I felt like, well, firstly, the professors always help to create like a really positive and interactive classroom atmosphere, so everyone could discuss things and learn together, both from each other, like you guys, but also our professors. And yeah, I felt like, sorry, my Zoom popped out. I felt like a support, a member of a supportive community, while I was on the MA program. And something else would be, I think I mentioned earlier that I feel more confident and to be able to articulate my beliefs. Another thing is, like, in the past, I would often, question my actions in the classroom, like, why am I actually doing this thing, and is it really going to help or not? I would constantly question my own teaching, maybe before the MA program. And I still do now. Sometimes I'm like, should I really do this? Is this going to have the effect I want it to? But I have to say that I feel much less self-doubt now about the decisions I make. I feel like, because I've expanded my knowledge of the theories of learning and second language teaching, I can feel less self-doubt about who I am as a teacher.
Yes, let's look at this next question. Okay, so this is something a bit different. So why did you decide to join the program? I think this is pretty important, I think, for this video. So we don't have to give our origin story, so to speak, but there's something, just why do you decide to join?
I'd undertaken an English language teaching certificate several years before I entered the MA program, and I'd had a lot of practical teaching experience, but I knew that I needed to build on this experience to continue to grow as a professional, because maybe I lacked the knowledge of the knowledge of actual methodologies for second language teaching, because the training I'd had was a month. It was intensive, but a lot of my beliefs had been formed by on the job, my experiences as a teacher. I wanted to further my knowledge and skills of effective teaching methodologies, and be able to make decisions that could further benefit my learners. And also, the Kunda program had an emphasis on interaction through discussion and sharing between students and the instructors on the program, the professors. And I thought this would be greatly beneficial for me, and it was. And also, the Kunda MA program also has a focus on the practice of classroom teaching across the curriculum. So in several of the courses on the MA program, we were able to actually, say, do some micro teaching or something like that, or we were able to learn some knowledge on the program and then apply that to our own teaching in the following week. And then when we met up next time, we could reflect on how things went. So those were my main reasons to join the program. Plus also, because classes were on Saturdays and Sundays, I work full-time and study at the same time. And as I mentioned just before, I could apply what I learned. I take class on a Sunday and I could apply what I learned on a Monday. So that was the main factors for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one, that the time schedule was really beneficial, especially as working in service teachers. It really gave us an advantage, I think. to really put into practice. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to join the program was I wanted to feel more, well, I could say more competent and confident as a teacher. I wanted to know why certain things work some ways and how we could use better ways to teach students. Also, my main goal for starting was I wanted to help teachers and students to learn more. I had worked in schools where I saw teachers were sometimes confused on how to teach different levels or different ability students, and I wanted to learn how I could teach them, how I could help them to make future teachers better. And my experience when I first graduated from my undergraduate was I was clueless, completely clueless going into the field, and I think that was a big negative for me, and I want to prepare teachers for that situation really, and help them to feel they can tackle these and keep learning from what they're doing. So that's one of the main reasons why I felt this program was so special for that.
Yeah, I think like coming out of what you and Leslie both said, I think like a key term which was important for me is like accessibility.
Yeah.
Accessibility in terms of a scheduling sense,
Mhm.
i.e. like, you know, if you're a full-time teacher, you can still do this. In terms of, you know, money, it was quite flexible how we could pay. So, you know, I was on a Kaiwa salary. It's not very high, but it was still doable. But also like in terms of, you know, what we were studying, like there was always, you know, that attempt to link these things we were reading to whatever context we came from.
Mm-hmm.
So like we had these like SLA papers or like, you know, critical applied linguistics paper or whatever, right? And I was helped to see links to my little humble Eikaiwa in Gunma, right? And that's like when, well, I was hungry anyway, but then I became like ravenous. Like I just wanted everything, and I lived it, and I became an absolute nightmare to work with, I'm sure, because I was just, you know, I was on it, and most of the people I was working with at the time weren't. You know, they, like, a few were, but most of them, you know, they're just showing up and breathing a few hours and then going home. Like, but I was living it. And yeah, as I said, because I was, those links became salient to me through the course. Yeah.
For me, I think everyone said a good amount of it, but like I think for me as a teacher and as an ALT, and you know, being kind of lost before coming into the program, what really got to me is, for me as an ALT, I wanted to do more. I wanted to build my repertoire, my teaching, you know, skills, and I think Kanda as a whole, I think, you know, it has these really good layouts of how the sessions work out. And then the good thing is that these teachers, again, the giants, right? They're always down, you know, open to, you know, consult with us, email us, and then these teachers are good at emailing, man. They're fast. And it makes me become a better punctual emailer. You know, I think me and Phil were like, dude, Jimmy, you got the email already? I got it, man. But I think you know, the teachers are always there for support. We got Chiho-san. We got all the stuff, support, management support. We got, you know, Sekiya Sensei. You know, he's up there, but he's like one of us. You know, again, the reciprocal thing. He's a learner. He took classes with us.
Yeah, I think that's really
Yeah.
And
now Gordon also takes
Gordon, right? Even Gordon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like, I think, you know, the good thing about this program and why I decided to join is because it caters for real teachers and for what we want to do and what we want to test out, experiment with it. So I think Kanda has a really good, you know, options, even for teachers who don't know where they're kind of settled in yet. It kind of gives us direction. So I think that's what Kanda is, you know, unique for, I think.
Sorry, can I just the last part? I just forgot. But speaking as a mother, and I know there's lots of parents here in this chat room as well. But I think as a parent, Kanda was very supportive. They knew
Yes,
that
yeah, 100%.
you know, we have children, we have you know, to go to see things with the kids as well. So they took us into account a lot, and they saw us as humans and as people. And I really appreciated the support they all gave us, and they even supported our families as well,
Yeah.
like giving us encouragement for our families, and you know, made them feel like our families were a part of that program in a way as well. So I think that was a really lovely part of this program, that it brought, it didn't distinguish, you know, you have to separate yourself from your family and your career. You can bring them as one, and you can still continue. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean your life stops. It can continue. So I thought that was a really important factor as well.
Yeah, it's an excellent point.
Yeah, we weren't seen as like fee payers.
Yeah, we weren't a money bag. Yeah. So this is the last question, and you know, yeah. So what would you? So yeah, how has the MA program impacted you in terms of your views of learning, what you do in the classroom, or how you interact with students?
All right, let me give you a short one then, quick. Not transmission, participation. Knowledge isn't being transmitted from a smarter person to a you. It's being allowed to participate in a community that you want to be a member of. And in the program, I learned the importance of that, and then I was allowed to do that as well. So that's what I try and do in my class.
Okay, I'll take a slightly different angle in addition to what Dan and James said. In terms of how the program impacted my views of learning, maybe learning as a teacher, and just go down a different route, but learning as a teacher, I think it has, like, the program showed, you know, it told me the importance of like reflection, like regularly analyzing my own teaching and, you know, trying something, you know, analyzing my teaching, seeing what went well, what didn't go well, why didn't it go well, what could I do differently, right? Reflective practice in ELT, that's, yeah.
I got all the books, man.
You've got all the books, I got a few too. So yeah, if something doesn't go as planned, you know, changing it next time I do it, analyzing the results, did it go better, why not? But also learning from students. It's, you know, I feel now the importance of finding out students' views about classes and hearing their feedback, finding out what they're learning, finding out what they're feeling, you know, getting their suggestions, what they would like to do more of, what they might want to do differently, how they think the class could improve, and taking students' feedback into account. Okay, yeah.
Oh, there you go. If I busted out the books.
Get the wall shut up. Yeah.
Oh, Dad's coming through with something heavy. Yeah. There you go.
The Bible.
The Bible, yeah.
Bible.
There are many Bibles, reflective practice. But yeah, having students write journals, do action logs, or just finding out what students think, and then, you know, changing based on what their needs are and what their wishes are. So just a different angle. I mean, it has impacted my views of learning and what I do and how I interact in so many ways, but it's not really the time for all that. But yeah, just that's one thing.
Yeah, excellent. I think I mentioned it, but yeah, I was a ALT at a high school, two high schools in my time in Japan over 15 years. One high school for 5 and the other one for 10. And you know, I think we've all touched on these topics. You know, being aware of different things, and I'm using things. Being aware of different teaching styles and different ways of learning, different way of learning, different learners, and you know, touching on like the views of learning and what we do in the classroom, and you know, I feel these are all connected, and a lot of things that I kind of felt innate, like in my being, through going through the program, they began to like be like this kind of blurry word or blurry concept, and then they form to a word, you know, communities of practice, you know, advising in language learning, reflective teaching, then more specific actions like action logs, different ways of research, exploratory research, all these things that, I think all teachers are aware of at some level, if we're really, if we're really into what we're doing, but we might not have the vocabulary, we might not have, the concepts. And by doing that, it impacts my views of learning. It impacts what I do in the classroom, or what I do as a learning advisor now. And this directly impacts how I interact with students, like Jimmy said, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. Right. So yeah, so let's continue to grow together. Yeah, does anybody want to say anything else before we end today?
I think I would say that among all the options I had to do an MA TESOL program, I think Kanda was definitely the best choice, and I have no regrets in doing so. I was able to be taught by a lot of very knowledgeable professors, a lot who are based in Japan, so I can still see and contact, even though I've graduated from the program. I've met a lot of people in my classes. The classes aren't huge. They are small classes. You get to know each other really well. So you have we have our own Kanda community, and we continue to, keep these friendships and relationships even post-graduation. And yeah, so I have no regrets, and I'm very glad that I joined the Kanda MA program. That's why we're here now.
Yeah.
Right? We're a community even beyond
Friday night, man. We've given up our Friday nights.
That's right. Yeah.
That's how good the Kanda MA program was, everyone.
Yeah.
We should be at the pub.
Yeah.
We are giving our Friday night to talk about how awesome the Kanda program was. Take that as you will.
Yeah, definitely. But I think if you want to ever take a chance on something, the Kanda MA project will definitely help you, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have second guesses whether this is the right thing or not, you wouldn't regret taking this choice. It's something I would never regret. And the opportunities, the people we've been privileged to meet, and what we've been able to learn and accomplish, it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, definitely. And if you have the chance, definitely try it, for sure.
The program's dope. Like I said, it keeps it real. There's no smoke and mirrors. It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. But it's you're not alone.